Thank you. Please remove your hats for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided indicating the time and place the same in accordance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, the advertising notice in the Star Gazette and the Express Times. I posted a copy on the bulletin board. Roll call, please.
Councilman Delfaro.
Here.
Councilwoman McCabe.
Here.
Council President Chesler.
Here.
Mayor Snyder.
Here. Public comment, agenda items? Yes, ma'am.
Gina James, 220 Strikers Road. Just in regards to new business number one, the ordinance for the capital funds. To make sure that the town is getting resources that are needed and the money is being spent wisely, I just have a few questions for clarification. One is, do we have an itemized of the prices of the dump truck by the brand and options that were being provided? So which is the cost of the actual truck, the salt spreader, and the plow, et cetera? And what was the bid process or number of bids received for this? And the second one is to clarify the purchase of the Cascade truck for the fire department. Just a couple questions there. One, will the truck have the capability of filling the air cylinders? Two, how many cylinders can it fill at a time? Three, do we have a Cascade system in the firehouse already? And four, are we just purchasing a custom truck? What was the bid process and number of bids for this as well? And are you sure that the system can be run for this price? Thank you. No.
Great, thank you. Any other comments? Okay, there being none. Items under old business number one is to approve the minutes of the June 4 and June 11, 2014 meeting minutes. If anyone's had a chance to read and review those, questions, comments, corrections?
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't have enough time to review them all. They're quite voluminous.
Okay.
So I need a little extra time to go over it.
Yeah, I reviewed them today, but I just give them back to that, so.
Okay.
Some corrections. Just
We'll
bring them up.
bring them up in the August meeting.
Thanks.
Not a problem. Item number two is ordinance number 2014-6, second reading and public hearing to provide funding for the acquisition of court and/or meeting room equipment in the amount of $15,000. Beth, give a quick update.
Yes, we
Please.
purchased new equipment, sound equipment for the courtroom. And Betty had found two old ordinances where there was still remaining funds that you have to use. And so she was able to put an ordinance, capital ordinance together to buy the money that way rather than take it directly out of the budget.
Great. Okay. Motion to open item 2 for public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Questions, comments? Motion to close?
Motion?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Questions, comments from council? Motion item 2?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Delfaro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe.
Yes.
Council President Chesler.
Yes.
Mayor Snyder. Mayor Snyder.
Mayor Stein.
Yes. Under new business, item number 1 is ordinance number 2014-7. It's a first reading to appropriate $200,000 out of the capital improvement fund, the general capital fund, for the purchase of a DPW four-wheel drive Mason dump truck with a plow, salt spreader, and two-way mobile radio. For $100,000, a purchase of a Cascade truck for the fire department, the amount of $35,000, along with miscellaneous fire equipment for $15,000, and miscellaneous drainage improvements to Reservoir Road, the amount of $50,000. The Cascade truck we've discussed in several meetings prior. Mr. Weeks has given us the information relevant to the first half, the truck, the plow, the salt spreader, etc. Any comments on the drainage improvements to Reservoir Road, Paul?
It's an approximate amount. We had drainage improvements designed. We did not award a contract, which is in the order of about $30,000 to $35,000. There's a second area a little higher up on the road that we think is going to cost anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 to do improvements on. There's been no specific design yet, so the $50,000 is based on that. The previous work plus what we think the new work would be.
Great, thank you. So, motion on item 1.
Motion?
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Belcarro,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe,
Yes.
Council President Tezza.
Yes.
Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Item number 2 is to approve a payment number 2 in the amount of $65,645 to Dulane Contracting for work completed on the Route 57 pump station project. Mr. Sturbins?
I did not prepare that recommendation. I think that,
Didn't come from
I
you?
can cover
Good.
that. Yes, this is payment number 2 for the work that Dulane has satisfactorily completed, has been approved by the USDA. We are authorized to pay those funds for the Route 57 pump station project.
Got it. Based on USDA, Ms. Stokes' explanation. Motion on number 2.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilman Belcarro,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe,
Yes.
Council President Tezza.
Yes.
Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Item number 3 is to approve a release of the performance guarantees posted by Gerlicher Solar America Corporation to ensure the completion of site improvements associated with the construction of the solar project on Strikers Road pursuant to conditions set forth in Mr. Skirvin's report dated July 8, 2014. Paul, anything you want to add to supplement your July 8, 2014 report?
the work is done. The guarantee should be released subject to the conditions in my letter, which includes posting a maintenance bond for 2 years.
Questions for Mr. Sturbins?
Is that, as part of the maintenance agreement, that you have to try to keep the grass cut in a reasonable fashion?
It would provide for the maintenance of all the landscaped areas on site, including those along Strikers Road.
Okay.
There was an extensive buffer installed along Strikers Road, that landscaping and turf areas.
Okay. And do you feel that, I know when they were building, they had a lot of drainage problems that ran into Strikers Road. Do you feel like what they've done has, will prevent that in the future? I know they weren't complete at that time, so.
That's going to go a long way to helping out the situation. The soil, the big problem was lack of stability of the ground because it was disturbed, and you had a lot of runoff draining towards Strikers Road. Soil Conservation District was very, very strict with them, would not give them a final certificate of compliance until they stabilize the site. They have done that now.
Mhm.
So I think that means a lot.
Okay.
And then our office has performed a number of inspections on all the landscaping around the
Right.
buffer area. So I would say that issue's been addressed. And again, if there is a problem, we have a 2-year maintenance bond, and we do have a point of contact with this particular developer to get a situation
Okay.
addressed.
How much is the bond? I hope, you know?
I can tell you right now by looking at my letter, right with you. Apologize. The bond is in the amount of $112,566.08. And again, it's a 2-year bond that will run from tonight.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Sturbins? Is there a motion on item 3? Is
Motion.
there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Belcarro,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe,
Yes.
Council President Tezza.
Yes.
Mayor Snyder.
I'm going to abstain. I'm just, as I'm sitting here, concerned that may be a client, a new client of one of my partners. I'm just thinking that I might have seen something with that name on it, but I'm not 100% sure, so to be cautious, I'm going to opt out of that one. Okay, moving on. Item 4 is a motion to execute a shared service agreement with the County of Warren for sharing public works equipment. In the past, the county has solicited shared service agreements from municipalities that are willing to share services with it for equipment that the county has that either we don't have or want to use of theirs. There's a new agreement because the county has increased its rates. So it's not an obligation. Obviously, they just make equipment available to us to the extent we may want to use theirs versus trying to buy it ourselves or find it from another source. So item 4 would allow us to continue in that process based on the amended terms. Questions or comments from council?
That's typically for equipment that we don't use on a regular basis.
It's for equipment that, not necessarily that we don't use, that we don't necessarily have on a regular basis. They have a much more substantial road department, obviously, by virtue of the type of road work that they have to do and the amount of road work that they have to do, and not just road work, bridge work, et cetera. So the county's prepared a list, quite frankly, of all of its DPW and buildings and grounds equipment, and you can kind of shop down the list and rent stuff at whatever their various rates are and lease it at whatever the rates they offer. And if you can find it somewhere else, fine. Or if you want to buy it yourself, fine. But that's how they make it available to the municipalities to wish to share it.
That's something like that you would use all the time, like the truck that we're buying, is that something which doesn't necessarily,
Like if you needed like a steamroller or
Mhm.
something and you don't have one, you
Right.
need one and you think
you
it would
just
be-
need it for,
you can look at their list and say, well, it costs this much. And usually I think it'll tell you by the day, by the hour. I haven't seen the full list.
And it's
but-
not typically a bargain. It would be like
No,
using your day-to-day car by going to Enterprise every day and renting a car as opposed to
Okay.
buying your own.
All right.
So,
all right,
um,
that's, yeah, that's what I was looking
I
at,
don't know that we use them that often.
all right.
kind of in a bind.
Any other questions or comments?
you.
Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call?
Councilman Valcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe.
Yes.
Council President Chesler.
Yes.
Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Items 5, 6, and 7 will move as a block. They're authorizations for redemptions of tax sale certificates in various amounts on 3 separate blocks and lots based on Ms. Ettinger's recommendation. Questions or comments? Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call?
Councilman Valcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe.
Yes.
Council President Chesler.
Yes.
Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Item number 8 is to reject the bid from Top Line Construction for the South 3rd Street Improvement Project and to authorize Mr. Sturbins, Engineer Sturbins, to provide an alternate bid for the project. Mr. Sturbins?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We received an open bids yesterday for the project. Only one bid was received. It was from Top Line Construction Corporation. The bid was significantly over the amount of money that was been budgeted by the municipality for that particular project. So it's my recommendation that we reject that bid. In addition, I recommend that you allow me to go back out to bid and when I do so, to have some alternate bids to try to deal with any cost issues moving forward. So I'd like to get back right out to bid again. Again, we only have a limited amount of time to use the grant monies. So time is of the essence.
Based on Mr. Sturbins' recommendation?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Councilman Valcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe.
Yes.
Council President Chesler.
Yes.
Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Item 9 is to release a $3,500 cash bond for work completed at 319 Aurora Street. Again, based on Mr. Sturbins' recommendation. Paul, anything you want to add?
Yeah, we took this cash bond in this past winter. There was a closing on this house under winter conditions where the lawn areas were not permanently stabilized. There was also a shade tree that was not installed. Since that time, the developer of that particular property at 319 Aurora Street has stabilized the lot and has installed the shade tree, and the work is acceptable. I also met with the new homeowner there, and the new homeowner is happy with the work. So I'm recommending that you release that cash bond at this point.
Based on Mr. Sturbins' recommendation?
Motion.
Second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call?
Councilman Valcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe.
Yes.
Council President Chesler.
Yes.
Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Item 10 is a resolution imposing a lien for costs incurred by the Township DPW to remedy violations on a property known as Block 2, Lot 24, in the amount of $312.07. Self-explanatory, based on Mr. Weeks' recommendation. Questions?
Is this just for, I guess,
What?
High grass.
high grass?
Yep. Questions? Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call?
Councilman Valcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe.
Yes.
Council President Chesler.
Yes.
Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Item number 11 is to approve membership to the Delaware Park Fire Company number 1 for John McKisher, Senior, and James Marinelli IV, as recommended by Chief Booth IV. Based on the chief's recommendation?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Councilman Valcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe.
Yes.
Council President Chesler.
Yes.
Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Item 12 is a resolution to extend the statutory mailing date of the annual tax bills to July 24, 2014, which would extend the payment date to August 15,
Yeah.
2014. Correct.
Mhm.
Okay. Motion on number 12?
Motion.
Second?
Second?
Discussion? Roll call?
Councilman Valcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe.
Yes.
Council President Chesler.
Yes.
Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Item number, that's it. Announcements. Community Day scheduled for Saturday, August 30, 2014, from 1 to 8 p.m. Council reports.
Yes, I just want to update on Route 57 pump station. Right now, Delane has completed the installation of piping within both the wet wells and valve chambers, and also has set the commutator chamber, which is a grinder, grinds up all the sludge, so it passes through the lines easily. Doghouse, manhole 7, manhole 6,
and it's in place of pump stations. The next thing right now we're anticipating is the contractor will mobilize to next to the downstream portion of the project and begin to install the force main at Route 22 ramp crossing and progress through the mall and up Baltimore Street. So that's up to date right now. We're moving ahead. The second thing I'd like to do, I'd like to make a motion to approve the DPW contract.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Belcarro,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe,
Yes.
Council President Chesler.
Yes.
Mayor Steinhardt.
Yes.
I have one more, and I'd like to make a motion to authorize council to make an application to seek the remaining grant funds from USDA.
Got it. What's outstanding from USDA? Is it
Oh,
under $1 million bucks?
Yeah, it's just under $1 million that's this grant money that's still
To
available.
be used within a time frame.
You have to use it within a certain time frame, so it's necessary for us to make the application now.
Got it.
For any work you want to still complete.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Councilman Belcarro,
yes.
Councilwoman McCabe,
Yes.
Council President Chesler,
Yes.
Mayor Steinhardt.
Yes.
And that concludes my council report.
Thank you, Mr. Vaccaro. Ms. McKay?
Yes. I had the honor of attending the 40th annual Lopatcong Invitational Swim Meet this past weekend. There were a great deal of swimmers there and coaches, volunteers, and families in attendance, and it was a wonderful event. The pool is something that I think is a gem in our community, and this pool has allowed generations of kids and families the opportunity to have somewhere to go on a hot summer days, especially those that don't have pools of their own. When this pool was built back in 1966-68, the town wanted this to be the recreational gathering place for this community, and it is. It has become what they planned it to be. They would be very proud of the events that take place here. Now, with that said, I would like to say, how does one small group in this town decide that they don't want the pool? They don't want the pool associated with the town. They're insisting that it's losing money, and their other suggestion was to have it outsourced, which means to give up control of that pool, of our community pool, to a third party who's not part of this community and who won't be interested in hiring members of our community or furthering our community events. Then we have a sitting councilwoman who's not here tonight, and the only reason I'm making my comments is I may not be here next month, but I feel that this deserved a comment from last meeting's comments. She came forth with numbers that were inherently wrong and inherently incorrect, and insists that the pool is losing money. These numbers submitted by Ms. Schneider, who's not an accountant, nor is she a numbers person, and she submits this spreadsheet as if it was factual and correct information. That to me is a blatant disregard of her duties as a councilwoman to prevent these numbers as fact, when in fact they were wrong. She then argues that she wasn't given the proper numbers, but at the same time still insists on providing this spreadsheet as factual information. Such spreadsheets cannot be provided to members of this community as fact. That is a great disservice to our residents. Tactics like that only serve to confuse our residents. This incident caused all of us up here to vote on spending more town money to prove that Ms. Schneider was wrong, to prove that the numbers provided by our CFO, who has 27 years of experience, are correct, based on someone who comes up here without a CPA, without an accounting degree, and is insisting her spreadsheet is correct. I am furious that we had to spend money. We were forced to vote on this to spend money because someone slapped together some numbers and insists that they're fact and the pool is definitely losing money. Well, we did spend that money. We did vote on it. We spent the money. And as you will hear, and maybe you have the handout already, you'll see that the spreadsheet that was provided by Ms. Schneider was incorrect on many levels. So I want to say that unless numbers are provided directly to you, the residents, from our CFOs or from our accountants, you, the resident, should not rely on any spreadsheets that are shoved in your face on your doorstep, especially for our upcoming election season. I'm That's all I'm going to say, because I can't believe someone can sit up here and insist that their numbers are correct when in fact they weren't. That's all I have to say. Thanks.
Anything else? Ms. Cheslin?
All right, start. We had our LAA meeting. There was just a few updates. August 5th, they told me in advance this time, so if there is a helicopter that's coming, I'm just warning anybody who has football practice. Annual night out is August 5th, so don't practice on the field while they're land the helicopter, because Will Spencer assures me that there will be one this year. So last year it was a bit of a dilemma. There was a bunch of screaming football coaches. But anyways, August 8th is the annual LAA golf outing. If you go on our webpage and you link over to the LAA's webpage, there is the information on the outing. We suggest if you do want to do it, you sign up quick. I don't even know at this point if it's sold out, but it sells out very quick. It's a very well-received event. Our local golfers always like to go out. So if you are looking to get together and have a foursome, you can do that. If not, you can apply as just a single golfer and they'll put you with people. Let me see. One thing I do need to reiterate, and I'm not quite sure about part of this, is there is definitely a no smoking ordinance on all of our public properties, particularly our recreational areas. So we just want to make sure that everybody is adhering to that. You know, it's the law, and also, you know, for the benefit of the children, we need to set a good example. And I personally don't think smoking is a good example, but again, it's our ordinance. At the same time, I think we need to look into the whole chewing tobacco issue. So I'll do a little research on that, because that a lot of parents are finding just as offensive. And it is, again, it's another bad habit. I believe you have to be 18 or 19 to buy that as well. It is becoming a little bit of a problem with the younger kids in high school, and we don't want it to trickle down to middle school or grammar school, so I'll look into that. I'm just asking you, if you chew, not to chew in front of the kids at a game. The other thing is, and again, the LAA is asking for a dumpster by the field house, like a dedicated dumpster. There's one up by the pavilion. And they're wondering, like, when they get to football season, if we could have one dedicated down by them.
We usually drag the one.
Drag it.
Up there.
Okay, all right. So once that season starts, they'll be good. Okay. That was it for the LAA. For recreation, Community Day is August 30th. I have some information online. We're having a Lopatcong Spirit Parade. It's for children age 0 all the way through 8th grade. Basically, we're looking for them to, you know, whether they're in a stroller or a wagon, on their bicycle, or walking, to dress themselves in Lopatcong colors, decorate themselves, whatever they want to do. And there'll be prizes awarded for the most spirited. Then, as usual, that parade is not going to be on the streets. It's just going to be within the park. Since they're little, we don't want them really tired. We'll also have vendors. Naked Jake will be performing from 4 to 7 up at the pavilion. We're looking to do bingo earlier. The LAA is trying to get together some kind of charity card game. I don't have all the details on that. They are also looking to do up there a quate tournament. I received approval from Chief Marinelli to have a beer truck. So we're applying for that license, and it'll be strictly controlled. We do have other performers like the dancers, the cheerleaders, and all that. And there's more stuff to come. We have a photo contest again this year. Last year it was a great idea, but it takes a lot to get your calendars put together and printed. So I only made a few for those that actually entered the contest and gave it to them from myself as a gift. But there's this form online that you can fill out beforehand, and then we're going to actually have you bring an 8x10 and an 11x14 matted frame to Community Day, and the Community Day is going to vote on the photos, and then this way we'll have enough time to put those into a calendar. Also, again, we're doing the chili contest. Everybody loves the pie, the baking contest, and we're looking for sponsors for our pie eating contest. So if you have any pies you want to donate. And I think that was it. That's all I had.
Okay. I don't have anything. I don't think. Do I have anything?
I don't think so.
No. Okay. Let's see. Tax collector is not here this evening. We did her items 5, 6, and 7. CFO.
Oh, that's one.
Yeah.
All right.
Go.
For Rachel, since Rachel isn't here, I'm looking to make a motion. Rachel has been researching online payments, and she has settled on one that she would like to review further. with our legal and try to get this in place. Now, the payments themselves, we won't be able to get online until next year. That's kind of the deal, but we need to start now. So she wants the approval to be able to.
You're talking about
further
tax
research.
and sewer payments.
Yeah,
and you
tax and
say,
sewer. Mhm.
She
At
found
this point-
one. Do you mean a company or she found?
She researched several, and
Okay.
she picked the one that she felt gave us the best rate and had the best performance and solutions for us.
Okay.
Okay,
I don't have a problem with it.
so,
Questions?
So we're just going to authorize her to
yes.
go
We'll do
ahead
some
and...
more research.
Yeah, go forward with this company, do more research with Katrina.
Yeah, research, not decision.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not binding the township, just
No.
looking.
All right.
Okay. We don't need to make a motion for the
Do it or no?
research. She's not doing
Okay,
anything. She
all
thinks
right.
she wants to. Okay, what else?
That was it that I had for her.
All right. Mr. Sturvins?
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to give the council an update on the project to realign the sanitary sewer between 315 and 319 North Prospect Street. This is a sewer line that's been uncovered due to floodwaters in an adjacent stream. We have collected all the survey data. We have come up with a design plan for the realignment of the sewer. It requires an easement from the owner of 315 North Prospect Street. And I've met with the owner, and the owner is amenable to granting the easement to us. So the next steps here are to get an easement document in that property owner's hand so that we can reserve the right of way to do the project. And also, this is a project that could be covered by some of the unused grant monies on the current sewer project. So I need to have a discussion with Mr. Madden to determine if I need to bid the work out in a certain way to be able to be eligible for these federal funds. So those are my next two steps. And once we get them resolved, we'll be able to take the next step, which is to bid the project and try to get somebody in here to build the improvements that are very needed at that location. Thank you.
I just have one question. Just about Baltimore and First Street. We previously had a study done, correct, on the four-way stop that was proposed?
Yeah, what I arranged for last year, the county engineering department during the summer hires interns, and under that particular program, they go out and do traffic counts in various municipalities. They offer those services at no charge to the municipalities. And they've actually done traffic counts for us in the last 2 years on 3 occasions here in Lopatcong Township. One was at the intersection of Baltimore Street and South First Street. So we have those traffic counts. They were done in 2013. I don't have them with me here tonight, but what I can do is review them and be prepared to discuss this further at the August 6th meeting and let you know if I feel that I can provide a certification to you regarding the implementation of a multi-way stop at that intersection. My first thought on it is I think I probably could, because the sight distance is not very good there, and we do have a pretty good volume of traffic that goes through that particular intersection. And I've actually seen problems at the intersection due to lack of sight lines, people going through the stop sign on Baltimore Street when they shouldn't be doing that. So so I'll be ready to report further, and if I believe that we can use the counts to create an ordinance and it does comply with the manual uniform traffic control devices, then we can prepare an ordinance and introduce it thereafter.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for the strikers in Bellevue. DPW installed the four-way stop. We announced it on our website if anybody had noticed, and it seems to be working out well so far.
Good, thank you.
Great, thanks. Anything else, Mr. Sturvins?
No, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Motion to approve department reports?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe?
Yes.
Council President Chesler?
Yes.
Mayor Snyder?
Yes, pay bills?
Make a motion to pay the bill.
Second. Roll call.
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe?
Yes.
Council President Chesler?
Yes.
Mayor Snyder?
Yes. Folks, questions, comments? Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Ladies first.
Gina James, 220 Strikers Road. Just real quick, because I think something is kind of just passed through us real quick. Mr. Belcarro, you made a motion to approve a DPW contract. I don't know if you can provide more information to that, because I'm not sure what that contract is, if it is public knowledge or not. I don't know if you just give us a little more information on that. And also, I know it's a first reading for that ordinance that I brought forward this morning or tonight with my questions. I don't know if you could just give me the clarity or direct me in a way that I can get those answers to those questions. But maybe you can answer this one last question. Is that Cascade truck going to be used to transport air cylinders, or is it actually going to be filling cylinders? So basically, I'm asking, is it actually an actual fire truck, or is it going to be used as a type of utility truck?
All the documents in support of the ordinance will be available to the public to inspect, like it would any other ordinance. So any of the supporting documents will be there. I'm sure you'll be able to get them from the clerk whenever you want to sit down and take a look at them.
Okay.
Okay. And as for going through the question and answer part of it, we'll do that when we get to the public hearing, which will be the next meeting.
Next meeting? Okay, that's what I kind of figured.
Okay.
All right, thank
Oh,
you.
and you had another question.
Just some clarification on this contract.
DPW hasn't gone through it yet.
Okay,
So still a contract negotiation.
so it's just a continued negotiation then?
Well, no, they approved,
We
they
approved our-
presented it to them, and
But they
now
haven't.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes, sir, you had it.
Hi, Dennis Drake, 6 Byron Drive. I was just wondering, they can have fireworks this year at Community Day, that evening?
I have a week to decide.
Okay, right.
Last
It's
year,
based on-
Disappointed if they
it's
don't.
on-
I mean, my dog would appreciate it if you don't.
Oh, right,
Kids
yeah, I
would
know,
love if you
yeah,
do.
I know, yeah. So
So-
it's my goal to have them, I just have to,
last year they were paid for
talk about it.
privately.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're not at the moment.
Okay. No, I understand. Plus, we
Yes.
had them at the 50th anniversary, right? So,
Right.
Yes,
okay. All right, well, thank you.
we're trying, I definitely want to have them, so.
we're accepting donations. right?
Yes, we are
Want
accepting
to
donations.
introduce you?
What's that?
Can I introduce you?
Yes.
Sure.
Dennis Drake is the head of the Lopatcong swim team.
Ah,
And, yeah, so
Thank
I
you.
just wanted to point him out to everyone.
well, thank you. for all of
Congratulations
that.
on a great invitation. I heard it went real well. Sorry, someone.
Yeah, we were all
I was
away.
Sorry.
Everybody but Maureen was away. But yeah, thank you very much for all you do for the swim team. I know it's very, very successful, and it is like the heart of this town. We really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, good. Sure.
Yeah, Marty Swim, 4 Byron Drive. I really hate to bring up the pool, but I sympathize with the need to not let deceptive comments stand.
So do I.
I don't know if it's deceptive or not, but you mentioned a group that wants to close the pool. I think that's an accurate quote. Now, we know it's not Donna, because that was her first mention that she didn't want to close the pool.
Yeah.
I've been encountering a couple people, a while ago at a meeting with them. We didn't suggest closing the pool. As opposed to keeping it a secret group you're slamming, is there a way you can say,
Is there a way you can say who's complaining about the pool the most?
No.
What are you
said
talking about?
There's a group that wants to close the pool.
So there's a group that's constantly complaining about the
No,
pool.
you said there's a group.
It's RLL. Nora,
You
you
s-
know it and I know it.
You said there's a group that wants to close the
Yes,
pool.
and
Who
what's
wants
your
to
point?
close the pool?
RLL has an issue with the pool, and I
You
believe.
said a group wants to close the
Okay,
pool.
I've asked the question, answered it. What's
Okay,
the problem?
So your thing is, there's an RLL group.
No, your thing is, there is an RLL group. Go
Your
ahead.
thing is that RLL group wants.
RLL, it's on our council pages. You've been at this since last year, Marty, so what's your question?
Just to repeat your statement, to make sure I have it. You are saying.
You
the
can read the
RLL
minutes and watch the tape to make sure you have it, including your tape on your camera in the back of the room. What's your question?
Am I clear that you're saying the RLL group wants to close the pool? That's what you're saying?
I said that. That's one of your complaints. You're trying to get it into a third party. You've many complaints about the pool, so yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
If you're going to lump me with that group, I'll just
Just
say,
so we're clear.
If I'm gonna lump you with that group, you
just-
ran for
I'll just,
under
I
RLL.
want to draw a distinction.
I'll just say,
Bear with me, Mr. Smith, one second. I just want to, because I heard what you were saying and I followed you up until a point, and then all this, 20 seconds ago, I ended up going in two different directions. Closing the pool, and then I think what Ms. McCabe said was something to the effect of third-partying it out. I just want to be clear what we're
no,
talking
she made two statements.
Well, I understand that, but I just want to, I want to understand. I think you're, no. I want to understand exactly what it is that's being suggested. So, Ms. McCabe, your last statement was to the effect that there may be an attempt to third party, the
If
pool.
if you
So
would
it's
address
closing the
first,
pool
if you would
versus.
address her first.
Well, I'm gonna, no, first, I'm
Sorry.
gonna finish my sentence.
Sorry.
Okay, thanks. And then, I just want to understand, Ms. McCabe, what you're suggesting is that closure to me means closing the doors and padlocking the gate and it never gets opened again versus, subbing it out, sending it out to selling or putting it out to a third party. To me, that connotes something altogether different. I just want to understand what exactly. what you were-
Clarification.
Yeah,
Yes. It is I didn't mean closing, shutting the doors. I meant closing it from use of running by the community.
Okay,
So,
thank you
right,
for the
yeah.
clarification.
Yes,
All right.
and we have it on record that you guys did try to say you wanted a third party to run it.
Now, about the third party, I believe you were there, Mr. Steinhardt. I believe you were there, Ms. Chesla, as was Ms. Campbell. I believe Peter and maybe Tom was the one that asked the question, could we outsource the pool? I was there. I don't believe you were there. In that question, Mayor Steinhardt's answer was twofold. One, he said, it wouldn't make sense financially. There's no push to outsource. It was, does it make a financial sense? That's why Betty was at the meeting to answer financial questions. Does it make financial sense? Mr. Steinhardt replied, it doesn't make financial sense.
I think it did. I think like
The question was,
I don't want to speak over you.
the question was, does it?
Right.
You said you didn't think it would.
Right.
You made a second statement, which was, even if it made a financial sense, it doesn't make sense to close opportunities for area kids to work at the pool. So the question was, does it make a sense accounting-wise? And the answer was, maybe not accounting-wise, certainly not for the community. Now, for you to come out and say there's a group that wants to outsource the pool is a different question than did anybody bring up the subject. And in fact, at that meeting, we several times said, who's in charge of bringing up ideas for the pool? So I think that's another misrepresentation. If you can clarify your statement when you said the group wants to outsource it.
Well, my concern is why is our numbers being presented about the pool? I mean, it seems to me you're all overly concerned with the pool. You're misrepresenting to the town residents that the numbers that we're saying we have are incorrect.
I haven't been pushing it at the meeting.
Okay.
I'm just trying to clarify your points here.
Okay.
Where close the pool, you clarified
Yes.
that.
Well, you know what? Let's
sorry.
start beating around the bush here, Marty. Councilwoman Schneider ran with RLL. You're with RLL. Let's stop playing games. You got some problem against the pool, and I don't like it.
Okay, the other thing that's interesting is
The other thing that's interesting. Continue.
May I chime in on that last point? Because it may be a distinction without a difference. It may be semantic, I don't know, but you to the extent you're using the word doesn't in the context of my comments, I just want to make sure that the basis of my statement, to the best of my recollection when we were having the discussion, Mr. Swim, what was more historical than it was either present or future tense. And to me, doesn't connotes now or somewhere down the road, as opposed to didn't. Because I think the basis for my explanation was that we had looked at it at multiple times in the past when the town decided to take over the pool. And again, correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I think my explanation to you at the time and the twofold, the two justifications for the decision was that when we had looked at it in the past, what council had concluded was, one, it didn't make economic sense when we looked at other towns who had their pools taken over either by YMCA or I tried to third party them out. They ended up not succeeding. It ended up costing more money to do that than it did for the town to try to run it itself. So that was the economic justification. And in terms of, again, the personnel, when you third party them out, the third party tends to bring in their lifeguards, their snack bar staff, et cetera. And that council, when we had looked at it in the past, and that would have been the prior council, Mr. Baker, Mr. Mancucci, Mr. Curry, Mr. Camprine, and me, when we all looked at it, looking at it from the economic standpoint, we thought we could do better, and the money stayed here as opposed to paying a management fee to somebody else, but that we could also then have some control over using locals' kids for our lifeguards and snack bar staff, et cetera. And those were the reasons why we opted to do it that way. Now, to the extent I may have implied that I don't know that any of that has changed, that may be accurate, but I just want to be clear that, you know, the arguments that I was making to you then were based on the things that we've considered in the past, and I hope that that's how you took it. I think that's how it was explained.
what you express now and the tone was what you expressed at the meeting.
Okay.
I just object to anything standing on the
I
record.
didn't say anything before.
Just anybody that says wants to close the pool
Yeah.
without clarification or wants to outsource without clarification. It's just misleading.
Well, it was stated by Ms. Schneider last month that she was saying one of the options was to
Did you know
outsource the pool. It's in the minutes.
I don't want to cut this with you. Well, you know, one of the shortcomings of written statements, unless you're Alexander Dumas and writing the 2,000-page Count of Monte Cristo, is you can only explain so many things in a short paragraph. If there was something lacking, it's your right and anybody else's to come and ask for some clarification. I'm hoping to your satisfaction that Ms. McKee was able to shed some little bit more light on statements that she may have made. But no one's intending to try to deceive anybody, at least from our perspective. And I'm glad that you came up and asked for some clarification, and hopefully you're getting it. A written statement can only go, it's like sending a text message. Unfortunately, once you get it, sometimes you have to send 7 more to explain what you said, or pick up the phone and make a phone call, which is why you have discussions.
Correct. I had one more
Yeah, go ahead. I'm
comment.
sorry. Yeah, fire away.
I haven't seen whatever you paid some accountant to do. I know I did mention.
Right there in front of you.
I did. Okay, good. This right here.
Take one with you, yep, please.
The,
Take a couple.
I did mention to Lori before this meeting at the community rec meeting that I thought it was a silly resolution to have a accountant come in and check math.
That is their job, though.
The
It's not.
CFO's job is to do the
Right.
math.
But in the minutes that I just had to read, Ms. Schneider said, my numbers have not been proved wrong. And she said, so I think I'm right, essentially like that.
Right.
And that was what led me to make the motion, because if we have a standing councilwoman who is refusing to, for whatever reason, not believe what her professionals, her trained, educated, certified, licensed professionals are telling her, and then continuing to perpetrate this. It was part, and then to come out and say, you haven't proved my numbers wrong. Even, it was
I
just,
think if you read that, you'll see
Yeah.
that it wasn't just checking that.
What was the rest
it
of
wasn't
the
just
thought?
checking that,
Okay,
yeah.
get more. Was that it?
To conclude that same thought, I would just trust the CFO was my concluding thought.
Right,
but I
yeah,
understand
yeah,
your
yeah.
point.
Mhm.
Concerning factual numbers, I couldn't skim read this fast enough, but the council coroner says the projected numbers are 25,000 for the year. I presume this really.
Now, again, let me reiterate that. Council corner it's a focus in time. It's a snapshot in time. At that time, which was August when we met with you, when we hadn't yet put in all the bills and Betty was looking at her revenues and the expenditures, we were on par to make between 20 and 25. After that is when I got the approval to do the field house roof. We did capital improvements. We had some maintenance we had to do, I think, on the bonding, the chlorinator. And it was because of the fact that Betty had come up that we had made the 20 to 25 that we could do all of that. At the end of the day, it's not sitting in a bucket.
I will say.
It did have to, it got spent. The money goes back into the pool and into the park.
I'm guessing it doesn't say 25.
It does. It does. At the point in time when we had the discussion. In fact,
Yeah.
the year that we would have looked at when we sat down, we wouldn't have looked at the last calendar year because we wouldn't have finished the calendar year. So in 2011, which would have been the past full year, it was $40,000. And I think that's the number on which we were basing the comment that it was roughly 25. We were using an average. And again, based on our conversations with Ms. Dobes at the time, that those were the expectations. As a lot of people know, that following year turned out to be an off year. I think instead of making 25, we ended up making 12 or somewhere in that neighborhood. So I don't think 25 was misrepresentative of what it was at the time. Now, let me say this, though, in terms of your other comment about, buying what the CFO says. The problem was, and I wasn't here for the decision to select the auditor, but I would have supported it had I been here. And the reason for it was, quite candidly, the CFO, and this goes back to probably January, Mr. Swim, and then in the several months prior, where demands were being made of council to take down this comment about the pool making money, whether it was $1, $25, or $25,000, because it was losing money, and there was a monthly disagreement going on, saying that someone didn't agree with the CFO's numbers. So to say now, whether it's you or anybody else, and I'm not putting you on one side or the other. For someone to say, we should just accept the CFO's numbers, I agree with you. I accepted the CFO's numbers. Somebody else didn't, and we had this debate month after month after month. So finally, council felt, and I don't know how it voted. Was that a unanimous vote?
Yes.
Okay. So the 4 members that would have been here that night all voted to have an auditor come in and clarify what was the CFO's opinion and what was another person's opinion as to what the accurate numbers are. That's now been done, and that's the report that you have in front of you. So, unfortunately, when everyone couldn't agree, meaning everyone, meaning a group on council, a group of the public, the CFO, whomever, someone needed to play referee and come back and render a professional opinion, and that's what happened. So I don't think that the 25,000 number at the time it was represented to you was inaccurate. I think it was in line with what the average was. To the extent that may be different now that the audit was done, this is new. I don't even think it's a week or two old. It shows that it's date stamped here July 14th. To the extent it may need to be tweaked, there's nothing wrong with that. That can be amended at any time. But I think the sentiment is accurate, and that the pool makes money. The pool has made money. And I'll go back to the 2 arguments that I made to you the day we met, that I think that prior councils that have considered it felt that it makes sense for that pool to be a township asset. We made money there. It serves the township well. It's having a very good year this year. It's a place for our families to go. It's a place for our kids to work. And I think it would be a shame for us to ever lose it.
You have to clarify, because I think my larger point was missed. My larger point on the posting was it's common in social media to put a edit, numbers adjusted for, and then you can just say.
No, the numbers were correct at the time of the meeting is what he was trying to tell you.
Numbers when we had it. Now that this is done,
But I'm
it can
saying-
always be amended.
On social media, you put down edit, and you say, pool actually made money, $3,000 was the last figure I saw. And that's how you handle social.
I would
how they're gonna
qualify
do
it
it
by
now,
saying
but
what
quite
I did
frankly-
with the $20,000 to $25,000. That was,
Yeah, post this one as clarification.
yeah,
under
with the
that.
I'm quite
clarification.
sure that will
yeah.
happen. It just hasn't, it's only 48 hours old.
Right, I know. You missed my larger point.
I don't think I missed your point, but I try to keep up with you, Mr. Swim. Do my best.
You do pretty good.
All right, thank you. Anybody else tonight? Question, Mr. Lance?
Dave Lance, 258 Rose Hollow Road. I agree with Maureen on this. I believe that it was a campaign issue last year, and Mr. Swim ran with Mrs. Snyder, and they went around telling everybody that the pool was losing money. I'm disappointed that this report doesn't have the councilwoman's name on it. And I would like to ask the council what this cost us, the taxpayers, to verify what our CEO already verified. Could you tell me what the cost was for this audit?
I got no idea.
$1,800.
How much?
$1,800.
$1,800. Thank you.
It's a drop in the bucket, Dave, for what we spent on refuting.
Still, I'm furious that we had to spend it. It's taxpayers' money. We have CFO here with 27 years of experience, someone that's up here for 5 months, and all of a sudden, she's a CPA and an accountant, and everything rolled into once. And yeah, it is an election issue, and yeah, they've used it in the past as an election issue. The poor residents don't know what to think anymore. So we need to put it to rest. We've got a report to prove that we were correct. Enough's enough. Done.
Okay. Any other folks tonight? Questions, comments? Mr. Weeks?
Brian Weeks, 280 South. Coming in front of you guys looking to replace the truck we scrapped due to not able to run anymore. All right. What we're looking for is an F550 Mason dump. If the package I gave you has everything in it, it's got a plow, a salt spreader. It's all undercoated. It's got everything we need to do that.
This goes to the heart of the stuff that Ms. James was asking about. So why don't you give us a rundown? What vehicles did you look at? What did you compare them to?
Well, here's the problem. Due to the new laws, there is no other really vehicle to look at. Chevy doesn't make it anymore. Doesn't make a 550. The Dodge we're just not really happy with at all, and they don't seem to hold up and nor carry the weight we're looking for. So what we did is we went around, we went on the Morris County Co-op, which automatically does the bidding for us. It's complete. We don't need to go out and bid. It's done. What we did do is we said, okay, we're going to have this truck for a while. Let's keep it. Let's maintain it at a level and get the things that are going to be able to do that for us. We went with a stainless steel body. All right, the 304 stainless steel. We also went with the warranties. One of our biggest things is everything falls apart after so many years, all right, especially around salt and all that. All right, and this will give us 7 years of no expense except for normal wear and tear.
So that's the truck, the plow, and the salt
That's the
spreader.
truck, the plow, and the salt
The
spreader.
money that we're proposing to move within the capital improvement fund to the general fund, that's enough to cover what you're looking for?
Yes, sir.
Is this price all inclusive? Does this
This
include
is a
the warranty?
complete. This is a complete
Just
price.
complete, okay.
All right.
Did the co-op have those at separate prices, or did they have it all together?
I have it all separate, if you want to see it, yeah. And, you know what I mean, that's where the price is, if you look at it. The truck you're looking at, I made a picture of, just to give you an idea. It's not quite the truck, but it's what an F-550 looks like, stainless steel body.
And you said size, four-wheel drive, rating, et cetera. This is your recommendation. This is what you need to do your job.
This is what we need to do the job. It's a four-wheel drive truck. It's all undercoated. It's you know, top-of-the-line equipment to do what we need to do. It's also, right now, we only have one four-wheel drive truck, and if that breaks down, we don't do Los Hollow, we don't do Lower Los Hollow, Reservoir, or Delaware Street. There's roads we do not do. 20 was our other four-wheel drive, so we're looking to replace that.
And you get to use this all year long.
This truck will be, you know, all the time. What I did do also, and if you look at it, if you look at the picture to the left, one of the differences on the back, you're going to have a riser of 12-inch riser that's going to come up. And what that does is I fill that in, all right, with my boards. It gives me that height, and I'm able to run a chipper into it now. All right, instead of just being have a little boards and
Just so we're clear, so we don't have to run into a problem next month or have to do something again. 200, the money that we're proposing to move for the truck purchase, the plow and the spreader, that 200 grand, that covers what we're looking for.
well, yes, and the radios and the lining, everything, the whole truck complete.
Everything complete,
Got it.
Yes,
including warranty, yeah, here it is.
including warranty at the bottom. All right, to us, that's very valuable.
And in your opinion, do you feel the co-op gives you the
I feel the
best price?
co-op is actually very fair. I didn't have any problem with it. I actually did go outside the co-op with one company, and I wasn't happy.
No.
They don't feel the same. They didn't work the same. They didn't seem that the ones, even inside co-op, if you look at your papers, I went to different places inside that co-op, different companies.
Yeah.
Right,
All right, and I'm not going to mention it to give them that name,
right.
but we went down, we sat with them, and we walked away.
Did you?
We just were
Okay.
not happy at all. They didn't bring to the
Okay.
table what we were looking for.
Thanks.
All right.
Questions? Any more
Thank you
questions
for,
for Mr. Weeks?
So it's, I guess it's not economical to lease something like that, right? Maybe
Come again?
is it even an option to lease something like that? Maybe it's not as,
Well, we hold on to them forever. That's our problem. I mean, we got 1987 vehicles. They're costing us nothing. All
right,
right. I mean, I believe.
It's not quite like to me, it's not like a squad car where we got to be a little bit more mindful. These guys can do their maintenance. If they have a truck down for a day or two, it's not usually the end of the world. We can't, not that we can't afford not to have you guys on the road, but we can't afford to have one of these guys, you know, have a mechanical issue if they're in the middle of something. So
You get 20 years.
we've never done, that's something we've never.
Yeah, we average somewhere around 15, 20 years out of the truck. All right, give or take. You know,
I think we get more than our money's worth.
we got 97, I think it is right now. There's the other 550, something in that range it is.
Take care of it.
Any other questions for Mr. Weeks?
Well, when is the anticipated date?
Well, that's what's the importance here. They don't know because what happens is they have to produce 5 trucks, all right, to be able to put it on the line to produce what we're looking for. Because of the color, all right. I choose to stay away from white because when you're in a snowplow
Right.
mode, all right, everything's white, so it's your truck, you don't see it. All right, so I choose to paint them yellow. It doesn't cost us a dime to do that, but time lapse is, you know, waiting for that lineup to come. They tell me right now is a good time. There's a lot of trucks coming, so I'm hoping to have it before the season starts, but within the beginning of that season now. That's can change as the company changes. All right, but that's where they're saying.
That's fine. No, but you have for the winter.
That's the goal. If we don't do it now, we don't have it. We'll get it in
Right.
somewhere around January, February.
Based on Mr. Weeks' recommendation?
Motion?
Yes.
Second, discussion? Roll call?
Councilman Valcarro.
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay.
Yes.
Council President Schaefer.
Yes.
Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Thanks, Bud.
Thank you.
Anybody else tonight? Questions, comments? Going once, going twice? Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, folks.